Oh my God. He did it.
Yeah, thank you.
I did do it. Facebook allows me to continue once again. Thank you, Thank you, the Zuckerberg. Thank you. Fucking Christ. Hello, everybody in Facebook Live Land. We are the Podguyz podcast, bringing it to you live as we do every Monday. I am Tony Kaz.
Kevin Neary here.
Of course, we have the ever-loving Picasso, the doer of the things that people will do when they do stuff.
That's, yeah, like watching a one-armed man swim on that intro, man. Kind of tough. Kind of a struggle, right? Kind of like watching a.
You know how many introductions of Sparky I have to do every?
You could
every
reuse
month,
the same one.
every month.
Sparky says, "Hi, Tony." Just gave us the best impression of what it might feel like to watch a person with carpal tunnel also be deaf and try to sign. Just very, very tricky to watch right there. It's all right.
To hell with you.
To hell with you. That was, you know,
Guys,
you got that
today.
Tony Soprano shirt on. You got a better fucking Italian accent than Sylvester Stallone on that
shirt,
one.
Man, I like it.
You like Stallone's bullshit he's doing on Amazon Prime? What a scumbag. You know, he's terrible. He's just a bad actor.
Up the collar. It's all right.
It's like fucking Rocky got, yeah. I like it. Yeah. Yeah. Tony Soprano. We got Sparky.
Guys, we are joined by a four square today. We need to introduce them. They are the men, the myth, the legend, the Boog. Daniel Cosgrove, Wesley Christopher. Thank you guys for coming on the show.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Thank
for sure.
you guys. It's been a long time coming. We talked to you guys about coming on. You always ditched us. You're like, you know what? We got better things to do. We got to make money. Got to make music.
Well, this is kind of an ungodly hour, too. It's like, hey,
True.
What are you doing on Monday? 10 p.m. Not pre-recorded ever. Live. We are one of the very few live podcasts out there. The Sparky's got a fun, what was that fun nickname you were talking about, Sparky, for the competition? What did you call it?
The big breakup competition?
The big breakup competition. Yes, because it seems like every band we've had on the show has had an explanation of why there's only some of the band left over. So Sparky's deemed it the big breakup competition. So there's two of you right now. There was more before. Am I right?
Yeah, that is true.
There's still a third of us. It's a three-piece now.
Okay.
It's a three-piece. You're a drummer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys never actually met our original drummer.
Nobody.
Nobody did. So yeah, we showed up with a different drummer every time. But no, it's I'd like to think that it's been going pretty well. Like, we've followed a pretty positive trajectory the whole time. So, yeah, I mean, we've had to make some changes going through for sure in the long term since the beginning of Boog history. But I think we spent a lot of energy at the beginning laying really solid foundations, and that's really what's carried us through some pretty big changes.
Now you guys are minus a lead singer now, right?
Well, we actually have two singers now.
Well, you guys, right?
You guys are the singers now. All right.
But yeah, you're correct.
I assumed that was the new idea right there. Yeah. Which, you guys know how to sing. I mean, if who writes the lyrics, who sings the lyrics? Are you guys collaborating on that all the time?
So the way that the format typically works out, Dan and I have been playing together since, looking, through the notes on the phone. I always keep the audio notes for little clips of recordings that we send to each other. And like the earliest ones that I could find was early, like 2019, maybe even late, like 2018, that we were, collaborating on stuff and trying to figure it out. So yeah, it's been a while since we had been collaborating, and then things really got going at the end of 2019, early 2020, when the whole band then materialized.
Yeah, I like to tell people that I think Wes and I work really well together because where most of our interest lies in the whole, like, music as a whole is like two halves of one part, right? So you guys were asking about lyrics.
It's a good thing you brought that back because I started going off about something. I forgot what the original question
Oh
was.
yeah.
So okay. Yeah. So no, Dan is very right here because the reason why I'm here is because I like to do the lyric writing above everything else. Like playing bass is really fun and everything. I like that, but like I really like writing lyrics. But then there's some other stuff that I don't really particularly care for, which is like melody writing is always tough for me, which that's one thing that Dan is really good at. And then also coming up with interesting guitar parts.
Now, I got to stop you there just so that way we don't lose our audience, okay? So the melody writing, people are going to be saying to themselves if they're listening, what the hell is melody writing? And then the other half of people are going to pretend like they know what melody writing is and say, oh, yeah, it's melody writing. Mm-hmm. So could you give me an example or the audience an example of what a melody would be to a song, just so that way the people that pretend like they know can also know, or maybe the ones that don't know can also know? What is an example of a melody?
I'm going to let you feel it because I'm definitely one of the people that pretend that I know what a melody is.
There you go. You see, we have one out of that statistic every time.
It's not like I actually know what I'm doing either, but I like where Wes comes from the lyrical standpoint. What I like about vocals in a song isn't really what they're talking about, what the lyrics are saying, but it's like how your voice is used as like another instrument to add like an extra layer to the music that's already there. So a vocal melody is just essentially like whatever you're saying, like what notes you're singing with your voice. So that's why I like writing vocal melodies. I really don't like lyrics, don't mean a whole lot to me because I think like the music, how it makes you feel is like what speaks to me. And so yeah, I guess
so
that's
it's more like where the rhythm of the music has to lead the vocals around, so that way it kind of feels like a song. It feels like it has listenability to it. Am I right on that?
Yeah.
No, there's a lot of musicians that actually hit you with the hook. Mm-hmm. And if you don't know what the hook is, those who are watching, the hook is the main portion of the song that gets you hooked into the song itself, with one particular line or one chorus of lines that gets you in through like the story, into the story itself, right?
Yeah, like I feel like a good example is missing a vocal melody is why I'm not particularly fond of instrumental music where there's like no vocalization at all, because I feel like you're losing so much of like a big part of, like a vocal melody can add, like you said,
like they didn't even write a song. They're like, they got lazy about it.
They missed like one big key element that adds to so much.
And it misses a human aspect. And I mean, the language part of it's important for me too, like communicating the connotation through the meanings of words and everything. But I'll have to say, like, even in music, the melody, I think, is prime even over the lyrics because it's a song. Like the melody itself and how you structure it, that does communicate a feeling, which is, again, why I think that's got to be the focal point. And what the lyrics mean, it's important, but it should accentuate the melody to pull that feeling off.
Here's a much lighter question, though. All right. Where did you get the name the Boog from?
The Boog. It's like to boogie, but without a Y.
I fucking told you Tony was the boogie. I told you. I said, I should ask him if there's been boogie on that. Or, Sparky said something about a booger. And
that's what our fans are called. The boogers.
The boogers? Yeah. Is it because they stick around and they're nosy?
Yeah, I thought it was from the bog. The bog. And it was just accentuated into the Boog.
Yeah, because when we went to when we were listening and watching the videos, the Boog's video, your guys' video was the one that was definitely that stuck out, no problem, right? And also,
you guys were on top of shit.
It's no
That's all
It's
Dan.
no insult to some genres of music, but when it just sounds like you're screaming into a microphone because you're getting your roid rage out and you're just smashing you're just playing any note on the guitar you goddamn feel like and whacking around any drums and that screamo stuff. I don't know, man. There's not a lot of range you could deal with that because it all ends to the same thing where they all just end up screaming into the goddamn microphone. So some people like it. I mean, I wish I could wrap my arms around it and say, yeah, this is a sound I could probably make that sound very easy if I did steroids or found a way to just get that angry at a microphone. But the sound that you guys were hitting on, I was telling Tony, I said it kind of sounds like a different version, especially with the female singer that you did have in the music video from last year. It had a cranberries kind of feel, like a dried cranberries feel. Did you ever hear that comparison at all, or no?
It was more like a crazen.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a crazen type of sound.
Have you ever?
But
heard
hey,
that?
I would say that we appreciate it because, like, I think this is probably one of the conversations that Dan and I have most of the time. It's like, hey, when people ask us, what is this band, or what do we sound like, or how do we describe ourselves in a sound bite? It's really hard because I feel like when you say things like, oh, we're genreless and we have all these different influences. I feel like that's a thing that like a lot of everybody says, and it's a lot of words to mean nothing at the end.
Yeah.
But then if you go to a complete opposite end and you just say, oh, we're a rock band, well, that doesn't give you much information either.
No,
So
it doesn't. I would just assume that now that you have male vocals, it's gonna give it more of like a perfect circle kind of feel. Is that close
I
or
will
no?
always take that compliment. Thank you.
You see, I think I was going for more of like a big and rich thing, which I know Dan disagrees with. But but I don't know. Our reworking of a song we have called Space Wolf. Man, we played that live last Friday night, dude. We were hitting that. That was really good. And we were doing the chorus in such a way where I would say, maybe not so much big and rich, but maybe have more of like an Alice in Chains vibe to it. That felt really good playing that.
Now, when you guys, of course, you guys are from the Williamsport area, right?
Yeah.
Both of you born and raised in Williamsport, or did you guys move there?
Well, I've been from, and I don't know however much our people here are familiar with central Pennsylvania geography, but like I'm from Milton, Dan's from Mifflinburg. I mean, everything's within an hour drive to Williamsport, so we can just say Williamsport.
All right.
Yeah, it's the biggest close hub.
Nice. So are you guys going to be now we're not going to be the judges this year. I mean, I guess it's the biggest loss that they can possibly have for the big break competition. The Podguyz podcast were not invited back to be season 4 judges. I know.
Condolences.
Yeah, you guys must have really wore out your welcome or something.
We did. We were getting some angry stares. They were just they were angry at us. They were like, motherfuckers, how dare you? How dare you think you know anything about something?
How dare you tell the truth about us?
Yeah, they were no, they're trying to keep it different. We weren't even their first choice to begin with. They're like, hey, you guys, are you available? And we're like, yeah, fuck it, let's do it. But are you guys gonna be doing the competition again this year or no?
We will not be. So we had to officially resign from the competition because Route 6 Records offered us a record deal, which we signed that deal.
Nice.
Yeah, so we got disqualified. Well, I like to think that we
that's
resigned
kind of just like
deliberately. Disqualified
like
has
taking
some
first
negative
place. That's kind of like taking first place already and be like, hey guys, shortcut.
It was like
Blue turtle shell.
that PGA golfer that was in the amateur tournament last week, and he used a different name.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you guys can't go in as masked men.
That would be messed up. Did that ever cross your mind to just enter yourself as a rogue band and just come in with the face paint too?
No way!
Like,
I don't have that kind of free time.
If they're like,
I barely have enough time to
Daniel
do
Wesley, is that you? Or is that you guys? No, it's totally a different guy.
Oh,
We don't
man.
know what you're talking about.
It'd be fun though. I think if we were
Anyways,
to do that though,
We're
I mean,
called the
if we're gonna go in,
Goob. We're called
if
the
we're gonna go
Goob.
in,
We're the
to
goobers.
go in as a mask thing, I think I would try to do like we go in like pretending like we're Daft Punk or something, and then like we'll call it the Goob.
Yeah, just put
Not us.
GOB, just fucking be like, it's
Even use the same sign, just turn it backwards.
same
Yeah.
sign, yeah.
That'd be perfect. Eliminating the competition one song at a time.
Oh god, we have that one story that's getting some pretty popular rundown right now. The Taylor Swift story from the Podguyz podcast.
Now, are you guys Tay-Tay fans?
I wouldn't consider myself. I mean, I don't dislike her, but I also
Do you
don't.
respect her game?
Her like musical game or? her
Oh,
game?
yeah, definitely.
her?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
I
she's
think so.
she's basically a child star that's been exploited by her mother for years, and then just caught a whole bunch of fame for just really, never sleeping, I guess. And the girl, she's doing some great stuff. But it's weird. A bug flied into Taylor Swift's mouth on stage during her Eras tour, and I had to, her throat is never really used to things going down it. So right now, Johnny Ochapenti had to comment on this. Now you guys are familiar with Mr. Ochapenti. He said that he can change that. He commented, I can change that. And
He can change her life.
and Johnny did nickname his dick. He nicknamed it the Throat Buster, So I don't know. I didn't nickname his dick. I said, Johnny, you probably don't need to nickname your dick that much. It was something that he wanted to nickname. And then Tony says, not something to laugh at, blah, blah, blah. She only took in half an inch at most. Yours would kill her. And I'm guessing he doubled the size on that one. But yeah, has anything ever happened like that to the old female singer on stage for you
Or even
guys?
for you guys in
where
general.
something just like went on or off stage, where something just like went in her throat that she wasn't used to, that you would never expect to happen on or off stage, and you witnessed the idea and you're like, damn, that has got to be the first time I've seen her choke on something that hit the back of her throat, foreign object or non-foreign object. Has anything like that happened? I'm rambling right now, but to you during a live show or to herself during a live show?
So just in general, anything strange at a live show?
Yeah.
Anything throat worthy? This could be a total no.
Why does it have to be throat worthy?
Just trying to correlate it to the Taylor Swift situation, because Taylor Swift had a
Your
bug
guys
bug
are in a
on her.
live show. Did anything ever happen to you during a live show that you're like, what the fuck, and just continued keeping on going?
Yeah,
Okay. I guess it's not throat related, but I was surprised that Ellie took a jump off the drum set during. Was that the second round of the big break, or was that the final?
That was
Oh,
the
yeah.
second one.
Yeah. Again, not related to what you guys were talking about, but off the top of my head, that's the first thing I could think of that she did that.
Yeah, I didn't understand why she wasn't wearing shoes. I'm thinking to myself, is that really,
That's just Eliora.
yeah.
She
Did
walks
you guys
in-
look at her and the first time when she took her shoes off? Were you guys like, what are you doing?
No, I was used to it.
You were used to it? But the
Yes.
first time, did the first time where you looked at her, you said, did it kind of catch you off guard or no?
I guess the first time I was ever out in like the woods hiking with her and she was like barefoot, I was like, well, that's strange.
That is a fucking strange thing to do in the woods right there. That is
Yeah,
no
that's
That's a
joking
red
around.
flag.
Like, listen, if I see somebody at a Walmart without any shoes on, I'm like, whoa, holy shit, those are some thin sandals. And then when you get closer, you're like, no, they're no shoes at all. It's just a weird thing to see, just like right up. But she didn't have any shoes on for the hiking.
No, yeah, that's a pretty common thing for her to be barefoot. And it's not really like one of those like grounding things. I know people, that seems to be like a pretty popular thing where people like to be grounded, and that's neither here nor there for me. Like,
Do you guys have any weird quirks to do to yourselves before or after a show? Something weird that you would think wouldn't be weird, but maybe everybody else might?
Yeah, because legitimately, bands have had not necessarily like something in their dressing room. They've had something in, an offstage waiting area. There is like a special
Like
green
before I do a
Skittles.
comedy show, normally I kind of like to be left alone to a degree before the show, and that never seems to happen, which is great, whatever. So normally when somebody says, "Oh, hey, how are you feeling today?" I normally say something like, "Oh my God, my dog died," and then they normally don't want to fucking, they want to stray away from you, or like, or something like, I'm feeling a lot better. I did have tuberculosis last week. I feel like I still kind of have it, so I probably shouldn't be here, And then they're like, "Oh fuck," and me looking kind of sickly anyways, it kind of works out. But no before show rituals, nothing to no superstitions.
I think our before show ritual is usually making sure everything's set up right. That might sound kind of basic, but it's we just did this show on Friday, and we're like, we hauled our PA system around because, like, usually we play shows like we're responsible for like the whole thing, and figuring out where everything is, and like I got a kid that runs a merch stand and everything like that. So, we have a lot of systems in place to get everything up and running and going when it should be. But it's like I always feel like I'm setting stuff up while I'm fielding questions from somebody else, while some other things going on, and also there's a problem or two that need to figure out that are specific to the venue, and then all of a sudden it's showtime, and then I wish we had some time for some like pre-show rituals. Like we should invent some, but like I don't think that we'd ever get to them. If you're looking for something weird, what we used to do, I don't know if it's a specific for a show thing, but like cheese balls used to be a Boog thing that I've been around in a while. Like what we used to do is before Dan bought his house, we do band practice at Dan's house now, but before that we did it at my house, which meant it was in a basement, and it was terrible. So but Dan, we use the whole like first floor of the house as the band practice room now, so it's really nice. But while we were doing main band practice at my house, band practice sucked there. So I also belong to a hunting cabin, and what we used to do is a couple times a year we would load everything up and go practice out at a hunting cabin. And in our supplies list, we always had like one of those like Grandma Utz like barrel of cheese balls kind of thing.
Yeah.
So like they would travel with us everywhere. So but I mean, ever since we stopped going to the cabin weekends, since Dan bought the house there, I guess we haven't seen a bucket of cheese balls in a while. I guess that would definitely be Boog ritual. Would be
sounds like a cool album cover right there, just the cheese balls and the word Boog around it or something like that. Just
it still lives on
cheese
as a
balls.
tip jar.
Yeah, it's we used it as a tip jar there for a little while, and then we figured out how to like sell merchandise. So it's like, why give us a tip when you can buy a t-shirt?
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean, they could do both. Isn't both a good idea? Where they're like, I don't have money for a shirt, but I do have $7. You're like, whoa, keep your $7. We will send you 1/4 of a shirt.
Or for that price, a comic book.
Yeah, exactly.
Just send them a picture of a shirt and say that it's an NFT.
Now, like, Dan, who's quite the artist in your family there?
In my family?
Yeah.
Oh, my father.
I only bring that up because he has a book coming out, right?
Oh, yeah. It's been out for a little while now, actually.
Well, yeah, for probably about a month or two now, right?
So he didn't do the art for that book.
That's okay. Well, it's still a book is a book,
Yeah. No, I was just to clear that out. He is. I think he's a really great artist. Unfortunately, he doesn't think as much of himself as I think of him as an artist. But no, that's been out for a little while now. It's a really cute book, and I'm not just saying that because I have to.
For a kid's book, it's phenomenal. Yeah, that was really cool.
Well, we have an on the spot artist here right now. Sir Sparky he used to just deal with paper, but now he has moved up in the world doing the dry erase board of your dreams and nightmares, right, Tony?
Oh, it's a phenomenal ou de resistance of macrame and graphite.
You're just saying. Sparky, what do you got working there? You got a picture that you've been working on.
What do you got, brother?
Talking, is that going? Is that happening? Uh-oh.
Okay, Taylor, we will teach you how to handle the mic.
Okay, you see that? They got the M and the S there. Now, what's the M and the S there for? Is that for multiple sclerosis or no? Sparky, what is the M and the S
M
there?
and the S, what is it?
Well, is Tony going to talk about that story this evening?
Well,
It was posted on the Facebook page.
It certainly was. But how about a shortcut for us?
2 names, Madonna and Sam.
Oh,
Donna
yeah.
and who?
Sam.
Sam.
Sam, yeah.
That's the name. Sam Smith, isn't it?
Sam Smith, yeah.
What is
Yeah.
going on with Madonna and Sam?
Sam Smith and Madonna are gonna make an album together.
What the hell is she? Why?
Or not even an album. I think they're making a song. And they called it the most raunchiest song ever recorded.
I can't find it anywhere here in the Podguyz
Yeah,
podcast.
it's on there.
Here it is. I see an Amber Heard story about her fucking around and losing everything again or something. Where then Al Pacino and Robert De Niro having babies and shit like that. But no, I don't see. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Sam Smith and Madonna are teaming up for something vulgar, guys. So the Boog, this is Sam Smith and Madonna. I guess if you guys could hook up with Madonna, right? That'd be a good idea, right?
As a publicity stunt for the band, I would consider it.
Yes,
But
That'd be
absolutely.
great,
for
right?
my own
But
personal-
Wednesday, May 31st, this happened on the Queen of Pop took to social media to share the first look at the project, its name, and when fans can expect to hear it. The single artwork features photos of 2 people, presumably the singers, wearing corsets with large pink letters over them that read S and M. Oh, wow. This is going to freak your grandparents out, I tell you that. The track is called Vulgar. Now, Rihanna had a track called Lick My Pussy. So, this is called Vulgar. This is it'll be streaming platforms Friday, June 9th, just in time for Pride Month. This is what
I don't know
iHeartRadio
if you
has
guys
done.
know, right? So not even to say how far are you guys in on Madonna? Like, do you know what she's been up to recently?
Everybody's been in on hard on Madonna. What are you talking about?
Yeah. So
No, I haven't kept up to date on any Madonna.
okay, all right. So
Wow.
we're gonna clear up a little air. We're gonna
I get you up to date real
tone.
quick here. This is
Yeah, we're
easy.
gonna set the tone. So Madonna had some interesting work done to her face and whole entire body. She
Still say that wasn't Madonna. That, Tony, that was Madonna's vagina
that was Madonna something.
with a Madonna face tattoo on her.
But she ended up getting a lot of work done. She had an existential end of life crisis. It's not even midlife because she's getting up there.
She's slowly turning into Joan Rivers that can carry a tune, or it's like,
Pretty much.
yeah.
She ended up selling a picture of her vagina as a token.
Madonna looks like what the Mummy 4's CGI Cleopatra will look like. It's scary as fuck. It ain't getting any better either, man. It's terrible.
Yeah, she sold the picture of her vagina as a token to sell as a NFT.
Okay.
She then went out in public many a times after surgery and didn't go well for her, like even through public image. Then she tried getting back together with Britney Spears for about a month, and she tried doing stuff with her musically and failed out completely.
Well, that's the thing too. The Madonna has never passed on an opportunity. When the spotlight is not on Madonna, she will shove herself into somebody else's spotlight.
Huge.
Great example. The Chicago Bulls win some championships. She fucks Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman. See, like, it's like, what's Madonna doing here? Weird Al Yankovic has as one hit song. She fucks Weird Al, and you're like, like, you're at the peak of your career as a celebrity when Madonna wants to do something sexual with you. That is the rite of passage right there.
Yeah,
And I guess
that's the,
Sam Smith is Sam Smith. Is he looking to hook up with Madonna, or is he not that kind of? He's not that into Madonna. As
No.
a sexual
I don't
partner,
even
right?
know. I don't know. I think he's like the Nas X of pop.
No. Sam Smith is actually is he gender fluid or is he?
I don't know. Wesley, I think we lost Wesley there. There he is.
Yeah,
He's like,
I'm here.
he's like, get me the hell out of here.
Gender fluidity in music, and we support every type of genre and fluidity in music in general.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
does there come a time where enough is enough, where you feel like you've already done everything at the epitome of your career, and then you're just putting yourself out there in order to be with everyone else? I mean, is that a thing in the music community?
I don't know. I would assume it's so you get up to that celebrity, like we'll take the Boog for example, right? These guys have a great sound. They have a listenability quality. The lyrics are outstanding, right? The biggest problem is that when it comes to exploitation of a sound, you can keep you could say that, hey, you want to keep a thin slice of integrity, and they'll shop you. These big music producer types want to shop your sound around, and not just your sound, but the way that you look. Now, it never used to be kind of like that back in the 70s. Look at how ugly the band Boston is, right, guys? Like, there's some ugly bastards. They would have never, but their sound was outstanding. You couldn't replicate it if you wanted to. REO Speedwagon, man, they look like they could be. They look like they could be a all on Welcome Back Cotter.
Look, Elton
right?
John did not do it just by looks alone.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, actually, Elton John kind of took advantage of the glam time, and all he musically talented, but he was ready to throw on a wig. But before throwing on a wig, he was just Elton John. My favorite Elton John story is when Mr. Bean had him on and begged him to come on to the BBC show with a one-on-one interview just to troll the shit out of him by asking him for fucking 10 years, a whole decade. He tries getting Elton John on, right? Are you guys familiar with the interview or no?
No, sorry.
So
a lot of pop culture references are lost.
Sold out auditorium, right? Just one-on-one interview. And just to ask Elton John, wouldn't it be easier if you called yourself John Elton? Because we can all agree that John is a first name, not a last name. He asked him that question until Elton John got up and left.
Just walked right out.
It was an 11-minute interview of the same question asked over and over. And that's, yeah, it was pretty epic. But yeah.
But for you guys, is there not necessarily like, I'm sure you guys have a plan in place. What is going to be the name of your album, if you've already come up with the name yet?
That's actually something we haven't really discussed yet. We're kind of taking it, I guess, there's a single that's coming out June 9th called Flight.
Okay.
That's like this week.
Yeah,
Friday.
It'll be this Friday. We kind of took that song first, and now we're like in the midst of recording a couple batches of songs at a time. So we're taking them like the individual songs at a time for now. And we'll have, more serious discussions about, album.
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking like maybe like this one might be a good self-titled thing. I'm not sure. The imagery that we're using is travel stuff. So if you've seen anything of like our Facebook pages or been to a live show recently, our signage has changed to be like a yellow airport sign, just says Boog and has an arrow like pointing in the upper right-hand corner.
Yeah, I saw that. I could dig it. It's cool.
Yeah, and then most of the songs and tracks that we are picking have something vaguely to do with traveling. Most of them, not all of them, but because it doesn't need to be a concept album or anything like that. But it's nice to have a few that fit the theme. So I would say like thematically, we're about traveling this year,
now,
or this album, however you want to count it.
I hear from the good old birds that you're going to be doing a European tour.
Yeah, that's coming up pretty soon. So we have a few dates set, and then the rest is going to be busking over there. So we're like super excited about that. Our home base is going to be in a city called Liège in Belgium. So I'm leaving out on Monday week from now, and then Dan will meet me there in July, and then we'll go around and do some busking.
Wow.
Nice. Now, just for an example's sake, right now we've heard you guys live. It's a really good sound. Like, you made it to the finals. I mean, one way or another, you're already winners anyways. The crates broke up. You guys have retooled your sound to an improvement level. But just for reference sake, for people that are younger out there that might be listening right now, how long have you been playing music for?
Together or just
Individually, together?
Individually.
All right, so like individually, I started when I was, if it's for young people, I didn't start till I was a sophomore. So 10th grade year, 16,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, I
It's
was
like
gonna
when I
say
started
probably
playing.
about the same for me, like 15, 16 is when I started playing guitar.
No, not started. How long have you been playing?
Oh, I guess I'm coming up on 15 years almost, which I should be a lot better by that.
Oh,
by that
stop it.
basis.
Stop.
No, I mean, if I actually, because through those 15 years, there was a lot of times where I'd like be really into guitar for like 2 months, and then I wouldn't even touch one for like 2 months. And then if I was actually like diligently practicing, 15 years is a long time to like.
You're
So
an
did you ever
amazing
watch one of those, like,
guitarist, though.
did you ever watch
I
one of
have
those,
to give
like,
you some props out there. Yeah.
Thank you.
No, did you ever watch one of those like child prodigy kids? They just put them on a piano and they just start playing. And you're like, you fucking little shit.
Yeah, nothing makes me want to like burn my guitar more.
Yeah,
than,
you 300 kick him off the piano stand.
But yeah, you've been playing for
20 years.
20 years.
Non-stop, right? Just slapping the bass, or
Yeah, I mean that's mostly what I do.
do you play multiple instruments, or
He's a pretty damn good guitar player too.
Yeah, so like when I do songwriting, I'm trying to transition more to writing songs with the bass in my hands, but most of the songs I write with an acoustic guitar, just because it's easier accompaniment. So I mean, usually how it happens is like I'll write a song using like the big cowboy chords or something on an acoustic guitar, and then I'll come up with a bass line that would work better for that, and then totally scrub the acoustic guitar line and say to Dan, like, hey, come up with something cool over this bass line. So that's a lot of how the process works sometimes.
And Wesley, did you ever write a song and you stopped writing it because you say to yourself, this sounds a little bit too similar to something else I've already heard before?
And never. I use that as an asset, in fact. So how we get around that one is we play in C# standard tuning.
Okay.
So it's standard tuning, but three half steps down. But it's interesting how that even can break you out of like your old creative habits. I will say when I play in standard tuning, it's like, oh, this what I'm doing just sounds like everything else. But all of a sudden you change your tuning up like that, you could be playing the same chords, but it just sounds in a different register. And I think it sounds like almost something completely different, and it's just enough to get a lead to go on to something completely different. So I consider that an asset, in fact.
how much truth is there to that? You could build any song with 4 basic chords.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of truth to that. Like I've seen people on YouTube and stuff do demonstrations of that. Like, oh, you take any
Crazy.
pop
Like,
song on the
absolutely
radio
crazy.
and you can play it with like the same chords.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say we could do it with a lot less. There's, I mean, some of my favorite reggae guys is just 2 chords. That's it.
Yeah.
So is what making rap so appealable, because they are using multiple strings and multiple different rhythm backgrounds and multiple change-ups rather than just the standard practice? Do you think that's probably the draw, right? Because when I listen to some of these rappers anymore, like the mumble rappers, where I'm like, mumble rap is garbage, and then I start listening, I'm like, all right, it sucks you right in.
Yeah.
I would assume that probably the big draw there is just stripping everything else complex about it away. You just get down to like the bass groove.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's probably what's the mass
The
market
beat.
appeal there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
like
beat.
the whole rhythm of it.
It's rap and hip hop or whatever. That's such a different animal, and very interesting all by itself. But yeah, I think that's something that does focus more on rhythm, and for the music part, that's not where the draw is a lot of the times, but I think it's structured very purposefully in order to suck you in, so you have something steady with a drop or something like that. But that also is meant to be paired with the lyrics that, there's a part where it's like, that's like really prime, but then it's also like the cadence of how people say their lines or establish their flow or whatever that really make the draw. And it's super relatable too, because with the culture of sampling and everything like that, there's a lot lower of an entry level into being a rap artist.
That's a perfect touch base on the sampling, because a lot of people that one song, oh god, that whole, well, you didn't have to cut me off, that's just all sample music. There was just all sample music with the Gautier or whatever the hell their name is. But
Gautier,
that they just basically made sample. They took the one main tune from a sample music and then just like one guitar hit. But guys, real quick, do you have nicknames for your groupies?
Let's call them boogers.
Boogers?
Yeah.
There
Boogers.
You go, because they stick around, right?
They stick around. Yeah.
Or they become sticky after it's a sticky situation. I don't want to.
We do have like a couple really great people who support us a lot. I guess we never really thought to give them a nickname so much. Yeah, Booger.
Oh god, I thought that sentence was going somewhere the fuck else. Like, we never really thought to ask them for a blow.
No, I was just getting the point I was getting at is we do have. There's actually it was last year, right? October.
Yeah, last October we did like a really good, like, because there are some people that just like they come to like every show and they're awesome people. So like what we ended up doing was having like a party in our backyard where we invited a couple of other bands and we did like an acoustic thing down around a campfire, but like we just call it like the super fan appreciation party or something like that. Cooked a lot of food for them or whatever. But yeah, like dude, like every show, it's like I feel like a lot of bands have a lot of struggles on things, and one of our struggles is just fighting for time to do things, so like I feel like I'm lucky enough to be able to do the band thing with the time that I have, and one thing I never do is go out and support other people's stuff because I'm lucky to be there to show up at my shows, right?
Man,
I know that's tough to get
plate.
So these guys that show up to like all of our shows, it's like, it's really flattering that they're making the time in their lives. These are like, working people too and whatever. They're making the time to like come out and see us. And that's just like really flattering. So, we did that for them last fall.
I'd like that to be an annual thing.
Yeah, that'd be really cool,
sure.
So just, it's a lot more laid back of a setting. It's a lot less of a setup. It's, it's like halfway like playing some songs.
You should definitely just call it Boogers Around the Fire.
Yeah, call it Boog Fest. Boog Fest. Huh?
Boog Fest.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, Sparky might have something on the big board to call it. Sparky, what do you got there in that big board there?
No. I was actually working on an album cover for them. Actually,
perfect.
All right, guys. Now you don't have to. This is Sparky's gift to you. If you want to use the album cover, go for it. Unless he's going to immediately correct me on that and say that he wants some money from it. But go ahead, Sparky.
I usually want about 10 cents out of every sale.
There you go. See, that's not a lot. He just wants you to drop dimes all over him. He wants you to make it hail all over his face. That is like he's at a bad.
Come on, let's do this. Let's do this atrocity.
Whip that out, Sparky.
Lost in the Boog.
That looks pretty cool. Look at that. There's like a dinosaur type thing on the ground. Somebody screaming, "Help me!" I guess is 2 birds or planes or something like that.
Vultures.
And then vultures, and then 2 trees right there.
Yeah.
2 trees. Now, Sparky, explain your work there. What the fuck is going on in this picture?
Well, see, what I did is I made the one all small, so it's gonna be silent. So now it's lost in the bog, actually.
Okay. Okay.
So now what you got the guy running around getting chased by the alligator, climbing up.
That's an alligator. All right, that explains it. He's a very
Who would have thought it was a snake with legs?
Yeah, I was thinking dinosaur, but that's all right. It's hey, if Picasso gets away with drawing an eyeball over anywhere the hell he wants, this is what Sparky gets to. If Jackson Pollock can just throw paint at anything and just be like, oh, this is my feelings. It's like, dude, no, it's not. You're hanging out with a lot of rich people though, so that's cool.
Guys, so we have one particular question that we ask every musical guest that we've had on here. And it is what kind of inspiration or guidance would you give yourselves, knowing that you are where you are today musically? Would you give yourself 10 years ago? What would you say to yourself 10 years ago that you would kick yourself in the ass for?
Buy a Fender jazz bass.
You would, all right. And would your younger self listen to you, or would he be like, wow, we still have hair, this is great?
I don't know. Like, I guess I just have to like hold him down and be like, like spit in his mouth or something and be like, like, you better listen,
That's some stuff.
Buy a Fender jazz bass right now.
It's okay.
Jazz bass. That's all you would need in life.
It's really that simple. We don't have to overcomplicate that one.
Yeah.
So many things can be solved simply in life by buying a Fender jazz bass.
What about yourself, Dan?
Answer the most questions.
Maybe in a similar vein.
You would spit in your own mouth?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, a lot of mouth spitting here in time travel land. Like, you have a time
I pee on myself, okay?
People are like thinking to themselves that if time travel were a thing, things would be a lot different. And we're realizing right now that it wouldn't be. It's just like a lot of people's mouths are getting spit on.
Yeah.
It's like some guy just walked up to me and spit in my face. It's like, oh man, that could have been you time traveling. You know that, right? No, couldn't. Why would I do that to myself?
Things really went awry someday.
I don't know. Maybe I would. It's not. I feel like it's not a huge thing, but it's a very poignant and specific stylistic choice that I roll with now that 10 years ago I wouldn't have, and that is. Back then, I thought humbuckers were the shit. I was like, single coils are for little babies. Like, you need to have like humbuckers loaded in your guitar. Talking about their pickups. If I'm not sure if anybody doesn't know what I'm talking about, the pickups that go in the guitar. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a lame answer, but I probably would have told my younger self to be like, hey, you can play metal on single coils too. And it actually, in my opinion, I think it sounds better because there's just like a quality to it that it's like less muddy. I feel like since I kind of made that discovery, which I don't even remember when exactly that was, but I haven't looked back. And it's just like a complete reverse of what I used to think, where I was like, humbuckers are nothing. Now it's like I can't even remember the last time I owned a guitar with humbuckers in them because I've just been like a Strat boy ever since.
Now, I thought Tony was going to bring up the question that I normally ask everybody that comes on this show. That
well, I usually leave that for you.
I will. So now, guys, I'm assuming that this right now, being on the Podguyz podcast, is the peak of your career. So how does it feel right now, being at the official top of the mountain?
I'm expecting Madonna to like walk up onto this porch at any moment.
Yeah, actually, most people are.
Yeah, I mean, finally reaching the apex. I mean, it's just, I guess we don't have to go any higher. It's lonely at the top, all of that kind of things. I guess the only way, I mean, it feels kind of bad that the only way to go is down at this point.
Yeah, so, I mean, hell, our next.
You sleep with Madonna. I don't know.
You that's the thing, though. Madonna's. Having sex with Madonna is kind of like the Poltergeist films. You're going to want a rope around you. You know what I mean? Like, just
pull you back.
You're going to get sucked in. It's going to be the only person in the world that can have sex with Madonna's vagina and live to tell about it. That vagina gave him dementia. That's Ron Jeremy. It's just a thing that happened. He is now, his brain is now, nothing but mush right now because of having sex with Madonna. Poor Ron Jeremy. We're pulling for you, Ron. We're pulling for a reversal for yourself. Right, but
so guys,
it's like the weirdest thing because Ron Jeremy has officially been the longest sponge bath. He gets nurses in overtime like that. They got to clean his balls, but go ahead, Tony.
So you gave yourselves great advice. what kind of advice would you give to aspiring musicians in order to get to the next level as well?
Man, this guy wrote like a whole book of good advice that
Yeah, there's
And
a whole.
what
damn
is the
book
name of
about
that book?
that we should have back. It's called How to.
you have a copy of that
Uh,
somewhere? Yeah, there it is.
How to write.
That's where I
songs
was leading
and
into.
There we are.
There it is.
Oh, there's a glare. Damn. No, wait, there. And it's
Wait
back.
a second. So Wesley Christopher wrote a book called How to it's not.
How to write songs and start a band.
Yes, the objectives. How to write songs and start a band.
You could hold that up there longer just
Hold
for
it
the
up for
viewing
everyone
audience
on
there,
Amazon to see.
just a little bit longer. So Wesley Christopher wrote a book, actually. He wrote a book, How to Write Songs and Start a Band. So you read that book, and that book can be found on Amazon, I'm guessing, or no?
Yeah, that can be found on there. So yeah, I mean, there's lots of advice to give, but I guess like to get to the crux of the thing, being smart starting out, especially knowing what you're looking for in other people, keeping things low committal till you're sure of what you want to get done. So you don't have to. I feel like there's so many people that get projects started and then they get frustrated when it goes south or breaks up. Or to give a quick example, like one of the things that I always mention is just geography. I remember struggling with that being younger too. Like you find people that have the similar interests, but it's a half hour away or 45 minutes away, and then you're going there twice a week, and it doesesn't sound like it's a bad thing until 2 months later when it's like, man, this is getting old really fast. You know what I mean? So there was a local band that we really loved around here that were running with us here for about 1.5 years, 2 years. But I remember when we first met them and we were, getting to know each other, and they had said like, oh yeah, we're all from a town that's local to here, except for our one drummer. He's like from 1.5 hours away.
Yeah.
And it's like, yikes, man, this isn't going to last a whole long time. And then that's not what happened, unfortunately. And I think that's such a common story. So like knowing what you want early on, feeling comfortable with yourself as a songwriter, it gets to that kind of a thing too.
I guess if you really want to get into it, you just want all the bandmates to live together, right? If you really want to just like get, all on the same page, just everybody live together, right? And just if you guys are working a primary job or just a side job or whatever, everybody, keep a very firm schedule, right?
Well, that's all like it's like the Oregon Trail. Like when you start the Oregon Trail, you can pick the family that has like, lots of money and no survival skills, or you can pick the family that has like all the survival skills and no money. So like starting a band's like kind of the same way, right? Like you can start a band where everybody has like really great jobs and stuff like this, but then the thing you're fighting against is time, or you can be one of the bands that live in a commune and just go crazy all on the band thing, but then y'all ain't got no money. So it's like there's advantages and disadvantages for each section. It's just like you got to figure it out how you're structuring yourselves. And then I will say one of the things I think has kept us together and rolling in the solid foundation the whole time, as far as the scheduling thing goes, a steady day of the week for practicing that doesn't change. I've had more than a couple of projects fall through because, somebody's working like some weird floating schedule and you got to reschedule it like at the end of every week. Like, oh, hey, so when are we getting together this week kind of thing. So like if there's not that steady day of the week, it gets real easy to be lazy on scheduling when you're getting together, and all of a sudden 2 weeks, 3 weeks goes by and you're not getting together, and then all of a sudden you don't have a project anymore. It's just a theory instead of an actual band. So like that would probably be one very concrete thing I would say to get ironed out early on, is a steady rehearsal schedule that like you don't have to plan it. It's just like, oh hey, on Sundays at 1 p.m. that's when we get together every week. You don't have to think about it, right?
Now, have you guys ever been a part of a band for either? This is either a question for one of you that have had any experience with it, either Wesley or Dan. Have you ever been a part of a band where you knew that the band had a great sound, but a drug addiction ended up breaking the band up? Anything like that ever happened to you guys personally, or?
Nah, this is the first band I've been in that has a great sound.
Yeah, I was gonna say like it was like the first band that we've been in that has a great sound. Like no, seriously, like the other bands that I was ever in, they were all mostly like either not real serious bands. Like we got together in college and played like a show or something. Like, but it wasn't. It was just like some friends getting together, or like I was in a cover band one time. But I don't know.
Oh, what was the cover band's main band thing? What was it?
Well, who are they covering?
Yeah, who are you covering?
Generic rock and roll.
Generic rock and roll cover band. We're playing
Snake,
all your generic
Metallica.
rock and roll. Play some Eagles.
Yeah, I
like-
think there was some of that. I would say that probably most of the songs were like what I would call level 1 songs. So like not a whole lot of changes, stuff that like somebody could have the idea about it and you could knock it out in like one practice and get pretty close. And pretty close was good enough. I mean, it wasn't super exciting.
Did you ever have anybody like come up to you with a song and they're like, I don't know if you know who this is, and it's like something really crazy simple and it happened multiple times?
It's like Guns N' Roses.
Like, is there that one song that you played multiple times and has been requested by people while in that cover band, and you're like, oh fuck, why does somebody like this song?
Yeah, that was a while ago, and I honestly cannot even remember. It was just my big takeaway from that group. That was one of those situations where like I was the person traveling. You know,
Is there one song? Is there one song that if you had to play over and over and over again, you would then know you were in hell, but you were forced to play it?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, is there a song that resonates
one song,
through your head?
if the devil said you have to play blank for the rest of eternity, where you're like, oh God, here we are.
I got one.
Okay, good. Go for it.
Go for it.
And it's because it's a song that I would be happy if I never heard it again because it's just so saturated everywhere. Don't Stop Believing. If I ever
Don't stop.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
if I had to play that for eternity, play it, listen to it. Like, no disrespect. It is a really good song. and it's
Quick play
unfortunate.
bye Miss American Pie while we're at generic karaoke night. Karaoke free.
Yeah. Dashboard by the Dashboard Light.
This thing won't let me pick Toby Keith songs. What's wrong? Your jukebox is broken.
I only did that song once, Sparky, and I was way drunk.
Bartender, I really did it this time. If I have to hear that. Oh God, I'm sorry, Tony.
That was great. I did I did Paradise by the Dashboard Light in a country
Come on, get it right.
yeah, Paradise by the Dashboard Light. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
You got
I did it really drunk one night at I was working at a Boy Scout camp, and we went out to the bar that night for karaoke, and I did it in a country twang. And it must have been so great that the guy out in the
You're not emphasizing the weirdest parts of the story. What are you doing at a Boy Scout camp? You're like, hold on, there was karaoke night. Anyways, all the weird shit. Boy
Don't get
all the
yourself
weird
on
shit
fire,
away.
students.
No, I used to be a chef for a Boy Scout camp. Me and Sparky one point in that time. Anyways, we went out to a bar one night and we got ripped, and it was karaoke night, and every song that I did was in a country twang. It didn't matter what the song was. And apparently some guy out in the audience was like, "You suck. Stop hitting on my wife." And I was like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
So I thought that was your male friend. I'm sorry, your wife looks like a man.
She kind of did. Yeah.
Oh, guys, so where's the next show going to be at? Where, besides Europe, where's the next American show going to be at, where people can see you and enjoy your music live? There's no more COVID. People are shaking the agoraphobia, the agoraphobic off of themselves 100% after 3 months of being told to stay inside. Everybody's got like this weird kind of institutionalized feel to themselves, as if they've been locked up in a Shawshank Redemption type of feel, where they're like, the outside world just ain't the same anymore. Or then you have the people that have the aftershock that like, I worked in a grocery store during that time. It was fucking crazy.
Yeah. So the next shows, we don't have anything set in stone for when we come back yet. Our first priority will be getting back into the studio up at Route 6. I'd imagine that's going to consume most of the rest of our August and September, and then we're going to be looking into September, October, November, and you'll be able to find us, I'm hoping, in a couple of spots in Scranton maybe, but more realistically, a couple of our regular haunts around here, a place called The Bar on Market. They usually have us up in Williamsport. Hoping to also reestablish contact with the Bullfrog. We did a couple of cool shows there, also in Williamsport. They have, and also the end of the year. That one is pretty well set in stone. We're going to be doing like an end of the year party in December in Milton at some place called the Art Academy of Milton on Front Street. That's a pretty cool swanky hangout. So we're looking to have a good party with that one. But and we'll pick up a few places in between. But yeah, nothing set in stone. But those are the usual places.
Nice.
So for us to wrap up this show for tonight, I got one last question for you guys, and it's a tough question. Because there's going to be one good, one bad. There's always a timetable, always a scale. If you had to pick one venue that you guys had a horrible time at, it was mismanaged. The place was a shithole completely. You'll never go back there. Is there such a place for you guys?
We were probably in charge of the sound that day, if there was one.
I'm trying to think. We haven't really had like bad experience. Like the only
everybody's got a dive bar that they're just going into. There's nobody there. There's nothing happening. Like
I feel like the only thing we continually kind of run up against a little bit is just like crowded, like a too small of a stage area.
Yeah, that's happened a few times.
But that's not the venue's fault. Like that's just they're just working within the means that they have. But honestly,
that is not completely not their fault either.
Yeah, I mean, if they want to have live bands, they should have like a bigger area. But
they should give a fuck. Like they should just pretend to give more of a shit. If you see a stage and there's stuff on there besides all your stuff, and they're like, well, there's your stage, move it. Like, what are you doing? But you would want to make people feel welcome, like where you're like, hey, thanks for coming, thanks for fucking being the entertainment for the night. Without you, we're just a place to serve depression. Yeah,
like, I mean, I think it's just hard because a lot of those places that were difficult to play were those smaller areas to play places. But at the same time, they were also the only people that were willing to pay an original band to come and play, which is pretty commendable on their part.
Yeah,
not a lot of people are willing to take risks on stuff like that. So I got to really hats off to those guys for even having us.
Yeah, we have to fight against like cover bands a lot.
Yeah, like we don't play like one cover when we go out because I don't know, we got like a bad attitude like French waiters when it comes to things like, oh, if you want to hear covers, that's not here. You got to go.
No, and that's the one thing I appreciated about you guys, that there were no covers, because you get to hear original stuff very seldom. Besides the radio tells you what to listen to, right? But if you go out to see a band, right when I hear a cover song, I'm like, oh great, these guys. Yeah, well, there's nothing if you're going out to see a new band, you want to hear their stuff. If you are the first person, remember the band Live from back in the day, they're out of Erie, Pennsylvania, right? So if you were fortunate enough to go out to see the band Live, right, and you heard their original hit songs before it even hit the radio, that's what a music enthusiast, that's what kids are missing these days, right? Where you hear the hit song before it comes out, and you don't hear other people's hit songs from this band. They don't care about the other band. That is your competition right there. So I was more than happy to hear some original stuff. That's why, I was just I think 2 out of 3 songs I really liked. And the one song I wasn't really into, I was just like, okay, kind of got a little long there, but that's, 2 out of 3, man. You guys are hitting better than Ted Williams sort of thing. But then you had those kids, the Crates, and that lead singer was, I'm going to just throw it out there. He was bringing so much energy. I'm like, man, how can't you just fall in love with this kid? Right. And then I guess they kicked him out, or he left, or did something else, and all that nice stuff. And then you have the drummer from the running in flip-flops, right? He was so talented. That band had such an equal, like the last show, it didn't really matter who won, because that last show was the best show that that Scranton's ever going to see for free. They didn't have to, what did they pay? $10? That's practically free of all original music. Absolutely no covers going on there.
Phenomenal talent. And that's the thing. Like, you guys,
we felt great about it too. We got front row seats to the whole goddamn thing. And the worst thing to do, they're like, all right, now tell everybody which one sucks. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? This is the final one. They're all great. It's impossible to to really choose, because it's almost like, I've done comedy competitions before, right? And oh god, I remember this one. It was I'm not going to name any names, but the kid that ended up winning, he actually paid for the judges to be there, right? I had no idea about it. I got second. Second place was drink for free for the night. Now, me being a full-blown alcoholic, I felt like I needed to drink up $500 worth of a prize that was mine because I kicked ass, So I just went to the bar and I talked to him for a little bit. I said, he's like, I guess I won this one, Kev. And I looked at him. I said, yeah, I should also use Dane Cook jokes next time. He's like, which one of my jokes were Dane Cook's jokes? So I told him. And he's like, no, those weren't Dane Cook's jokes. I said, well, they weren't yours. He's like, well, they weren't Dane Cook jokes. I'm like, well, there you go. You fucking hack. So, I don't remember driving home that night, but it does suck when when you see something like that, when you see that a band that is there that you say to yourself, fuck, I am so much better than them. We are so much more talented than them, let alone if you have four different bands or three different bands where they're all kind of on the same talent level. And you're like, well, you know what? This is just up to personal taste at this moment or performance at that, or whoever has it that night. You guys were going through a difficulty where you're like playing whack-a-mole with a drummer. And I'm like, damn it, that is an obstacle to come over. I don't care how good you are. If you got the drummer where it's just like, well, we got this guy today, we had to literally show him everything different, and you get there and that's great, right? But then for the second time, it's like, guess what, guys? Another new drummer. It's like, son of a bitch, these guys can't catch a break. So luck has a little bit to do with it.
Yeah, so like I said, it was that was a lot of planning, and we spent a lot of last fall, losing traction for writing new material. It was mostly training drummers on new things, but that was just about, again, like laying good foundations and being organized and getting the thing done that we needed to have done, so that we had a full band in that competition. So
I will say too. Yeah, like running in flip-flops and the crates, both of those, very, very talented bands. I highly enjoyed listening to both of them, and definitely would say that we should have been third, because I feel like their performances were, not to question your judgment or anything, but listening back to it, I was like, man, we really weren't on like we could have been, and I feel like both those bands really killed it. That was all around, that was such a good experience.
Yeah.
The guitar, the vocals were great, but the drummer, you could tell he was brand new. You could if you're listening, and like obviously you guys are used to your songs, you're used to a specific drummer, but you could tell that the drummer was a little different, even from the music video. The music video was outstanding. Where me and Tony were been talking, and we were excited to even have the same taste in music, because we just basically, besides doing comedy shows and podcasts, we don't really listen to music together at all, really. But we know what's good, and we have opinions on. Everybody has an opinion on music, so we have one that's good and one that's bad. And obviously the screamo stuff, that's not really up our alley. That's not too much. That's not like a family friendly kind of thing. And we're not looking for whatever, but some Nickelback sounding thing. But you guys had a really cool sound, and you know what? I really can't wait. I can't wait to hear what the male vocals sound like now, where you're just a trifecta group, just a three, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So like that's gonna be something. So when do you think that the album Flight is gonna be coming out? This coming week, or?
Oh, that's just a single, but yeah, that's coming out this Friday, June 9th.
June 9th. All right. So look for that June 9th, the album, the Boog Flight.
We're very proud of this one. It's first song of the new format, and I think we're right in the spot where we want to be with it. Everything feels good about it.
Well, that's the cool thing about music, man. All it takes is one really good song to just catch fire.
To get free strings for life.
Free strings for life, man. Free mac and cheese. Free mac and cheese.
Yeah.
Question for you guys. Have you made a song that you thought was going to be not necessarily too immature or not your style, that you said, oh man, this has got a great hook, but I don't think it's just us. You don't think it's that it's your style, it doesn't mesh well, but it would be something for like a different genre?
I was gonna say, real quick, I was just gonna say, I feel like that happens a lot when I try to write lyrics. We're like, okay, well, let's scrap this. What were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say that, again, just organizing things the way that we have to in the limited amount of time that we do have with each other each week. I think all of those decisions are super deliberate. So I mean, I have a back catalog of a lot of songs that just haven't even seen, and I know that a lot of them are not going to see time on the rehearsal floor. So even going through those, it's like, hey, which ones of these are not only like, 'cause obviously I think they're all good songs because I wrote them, but it's like, hey, which one of these are great songs, but which one of these are great Boog songs? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, I think there's a pretty big vetting process, and I think what that has resulted in is something that all of the songs that we have in there fit and also give us latitude. Because I think we how do we write? It's not like we have some bands. I'll not say like one way is right or one way is wrong here, but like we have some friends that are in bands that, you start with like kind of like the genre first, and then you write to the genre to stay in that lane, and that's just how you do it in that genre.
What if Taylor Swift steals one of your songs and you're like, that bitch, that son of a bitch, I'm gonna tear her hair out.
Want to throw flies in her
we
mouth?
get songwriting credits or something.
Yeah, she gets Green Miled by Michael Duncan Clark and a bug goes flying in there.
But yeah, I mean, but how we end up writing songs is, all of us just have like really different influences that actually none of us really agree on a whole lot. Like Dan's favorite band, like I haven't even like listened to a full album by them, and like vice versa. So yeah, nobody's really into anybody else's thing. So we all kind of just, I guess, are formed by our influences, and then we show up with the idea of like, hey, let's like write original songs, and then everything and just ends up sounding Boogish, but like we have a latitude for what's acceptable too. Like it all doesn't sound like, when Flight comes out, that's going to be a certain marker, but then the next thing that comes out will still sound like the Boog, but will definitely not sound like Flight, the thing that we're going to have coming up in July,
Well, yeah, you definitely don't want the same song, like the sound of the song, to resonate through the whole album. And not necessarily like a lot of bands have done that. Your Nickelbacks, your Lives, your even a take, for instance, like Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness, one of my favorite albums of all time. Like, not to say that every song has a same feel, but because of the double album, there was a lot of songs that sounded somewhat alike. But do you guys feel like each song has a different resonance, or do you think it'll just mesh along with the album itself?
I think some songs we've written in the past are similar, thematically similar, and maybe similar vibe to other ones. It's funny, this new song Flight, when we play that, Wes and I both on separate occasions have like totally gotten it mixed up with another song that we have, because they do have a pretty similar, like at least in the way they start.
Yeah, like a similar tempo, and it's like a little quicker, sort of like, I don't want to say punk rock, but it's like a faster type of the song. Or like, again, the one we're going with, the July, it almost has like a more laid back samba feel to it. But it's like, still Dan playing the guitar. It's not like some weird thing where we're doing a death metal song and then following it up with like a Lawrence Welk polka hit or something like that.
Well, the one guarantee you will have is if and when you do make it big, I mean big time on the national scale, you'll have the radio people talking about you like Alan K. Stout for the next 20-30 years. Like he talks about the Badleys, and they'll talk about like Breaking Ben. Like if and it's almost like in alphabetical order sometimes. Breaking Ben, now the Badleys, and they'll have like a story about the bands. Like, here we go, the Badleys, and you're like, all right, I fucking knew it was gonna be the Badleys.
Do you guys have a favorite Pennsylvania band?
Breaking Ben, probably.
I love Breaking Ben myself.
Yeah.
I'm always a big fan, but
how about you? Do you have isn't like Cinderella from here too, or some shit like that?
No, they are. Yeah, they're from
Kicks too, I think.
Well, there's another thing that's going on too, because there's sometimes the studio that signs the people that also resells their album to a bigger company, right? So you got that's just the way it is. But
I was really upset that Strangers with Candy. Did you ever hear that band from Pennsylvania?
Yeah, my friend used to be in that.
Yeah, that was a phenomenal band, like a really, really good band, and they were starting to take off for a while, and all of a sudden, like done just like that.
Like Electric Candy House.
Yeah.
Hear them or no? No.
Now,
like
I know
small town
University
Titans.
Drive.
Yeah, they're cool.
University Drive has a pretty big market right now as far as a Pennsylvania band that's starting to get bigger.
That and there's always the competition level. You can ask anybody that doesn't even play an instrument. You could say, hey, you want to be a famous musician one day? And they'll say, oh my God, it never crossed my mind, but now that you say the words, absolutely.
I'm in.
And then they become your fucking competition because they grew their hair long and they blow into a harmonica. And you're like, who the hell is that? And they say, that's Steven Tyler over there. He does cocaine and heroin, though. So don't worry. Probably won't be anybody big. All right. He just started. He blows in the harmonica, for the love of God. He keeps scarves on his microphone. So no big deal. And then look, it's just
now he's a gun-toting grandma.
Yeah, no, he does have that grandma look right there. He looks like the Olsen twins spawned from him.
He looks like you missed out on 14 rounds of bingo.
Did you guys hear who Wesley said? If you guys have ever heard of them before, his favorite.
I was gonna say I like Small Town Titans. They're cool.
Small Town Titans, also a great band. Yeah, phenomenal.
Yeah.
That lead singer. Oh,
yeah, he's a phenomenal singer.
Got that range for something.
Yeah.
Oof. All right, guys,
actually,
we're gonna roll out the red carpet for you.
Red carpet rolled.
Red carpet rolling. If they were gonna get in touch with you to book a gig, how would they do that?
Facebook Messenger is a great place, or an even better one through our website at theboogband.com. So there's all the contact information is there.
Yeah, there's a whole section that's like a contact us. You click it up in the menu, it'll take you to like a prompt, and it'll go directly to our email, which is theboogofficial@gmail.com.
Boogofficial@gmail.com.
Do you guys do parties, bar mitzvahs?
I'd be up for a lot of different. I like playing music. I guess
there's a new thing going on. There's these divorce parties going on. Now, you guys sell your merchandise through merchbooth.com or no?
No, we actually have our own subsidiary company called Boogworks. That's our manufacturing plant.
Boogworks.com. Well, we actually have our own stuff through merchbooth.com, where you can find your Podguyz podcast gear. Just go to the Podguyz.
Shameless
Go to the podcast section at the merchbooth.com and check out the Podguyz podcast. T-shirts, hoodies, underwear, socks, and the Boog. .com. Merchandise. What is that?
The boogband.com. Yeah, you can find it.
Boogband.com. You go there. You can find all their nice merchandise. So you can buy music. That's always a great idea. Probably listen to you guys on Spotify too while wearing the shirt. You can just boog yourself out. And if you don't like it, they can go boog themselves. Right? We're just going to turn it into a verb.
It's a giant boog off.
Yeah. Like it should be. Like you can turn it into a yoga section. Be like, yeah.
It can be booga.
And if you want to be a groupie, you can email them too, right, guys?
Yeah. If you want to be a booger,
you can
sign up for
the mailing list.
Yeah. There is a list. You have like a guy with a clipboard there, and he's just
It's actually, if you go to theboogband.com, it's the first thing you'll see underneath the banner at the top is there's a little box to sign up for the mailing list. We're always trying to grow our mailing list because we have some good plans in the future for rolling out some like unique stuff for people who are a part of that.
Nice.
Yeah, it's important to have that information. So for instance, just this past week we had to mail out we had to ask for a physical address because Dan had destroyed the personal property of somebody's who's an after party that we had went to in a show within this last month. So we had to purchase and send.
Okay, hold up. This makes me sound like I'm going around like ripping up like Guns N' Roses.
He's getting all drunk up in
hotel rooms.
It was crazy.
There was an incident. Something happened. And we resolved the issue.
Yep. So we all with the unofficial letter.
Now I'm just thinking all sorts of crazy shit. Jesus Christ, the vague are the worst.
Story.
What the hell happened?
The letter in his file went in there from the home office. There was he had to go in front of the discipline board, and ultimately they made restitution. So it's all fine now. It's good. The party that was offended accepted everything. It's cool.
I drank too much and threw up in somebody's bucket, and it sat out overnight, and they just decided to throw it out.
Oh, come on. That was that was not worth it. That was not, you could have mentioned that. That's nothing to be, just throw the bucket out. Well, they don't know how to clean a bucket full of puke. There's something wrong with them. They wanted a new bucket off you, man. It's terrible.
They took good care of me though. I appreciate it. Yeah, it was just like a fun thing for us to be like, we got you back. When the band, any member of the band destroys any property, we'll make good on it because we're just those kind of guys.
So therefore, if you guys ever see Dan or Wesley out on the market there, whether they be at the V spot or all the way out in Williamsport, this podcast cannot be used as evidence. We deny everything.
There you go. That's legally binding too, because it's legally on that big washable board.
That's true. Guys, thank you very much for coming on the show. We appreciate all of your time and hard work. We can't wait to hear what you have on this coming Friday, of course, from the Boog. The Boog.
Yeah, I guess it's worth mentioning that it's being released in association with Route 6 Records, our label, and they're sponsored by Encore Studios, which is where we recorded that single and where we're going to record everything for the foreseeable future. They've got some great guys down there. Dan Dearborn and Robert McCann. Is that his last name?
Robert McCann, yeah.
Yeah, those guys are awesome. Really easy to work.
Had them on the show once before as well.
Yeah, cool dudes.
All right, guys. I am Tony Kaz, followed by
Kevin Neary.
Of course, the ever-loving Picasso.
Parquet.
He's the owner of the One String.
Yeah, thank you very much for your album art contribution there. I appreciate that.
Perfect. The One String.
Look at that. That's his one string right there. You see that?
Guys, make sure you tune in, like, share below. Go and support the Boog. Go to the Boog, theboogband.com. Theboogband.com. Buy some merch, support the band. They don't want full-time jobs. They just want to do music forever.
That's the dream.
That is the dream. That's everybody's dream. Let's make it happen. Thank you, guys. We'll talk to you soon.
Appreciate it. Have a good night, guys.
Share, like below. Bye.
Do the thing.